The fifth match of the Anderson Tendulkar Trophy 2025 has kicked off, but the series just might be best remembered for what happened on the last session of the fourth test. Ben Stokes going up to Ravindra Jadeja to shake hands, call it a draw, and a funny incident followed where Jadeja refused it, and that somehow came out to be the highlight of the match. And it's understandable why Stokes was so pissed at being at that situation in the last session. When India went down for 0 to 2, losing 2 wickets in the first over itself, Stokes would not have expected that they would bat through the 143 overs, which they ultimately did. Vokes got Jaiswal and Sudarshan, and Stokes, knowing that there's no Rishabh Pant to come, would have been smacking his lips at the prospect of getting 7 wickets in the next 4 sessions. But that was not to be. Rahul played steady with a good 90, Gill came in with a century, and even after those two went, the left-handed all-rounders Jadeja and Sundar held steady, which led to this funny piece where Stokes asked Jadeja for a draw. Jadeja rightly refused, and Stokes and Duckett all hounding Jadeja and saying, "Do you really want to score your century off Harry Brook?" This would also be a good time to remind Stokes that getting your century off Harry Brook is not the same. Yeah, Jadeja faced all the ballers earlier in the 183 deliveries he faced. 49 balls faced of Dawson, scoring 30 runs. 29 balls of Archer, scoring 14 runs. 41 balls of Joe Root. Yes, you heard that right, Joe Root, scoring 24 runs. 13 balls of Chris Wokes, the person who took the first 2 wickets in the first over, scoring 3 runs. 13 balls of Stokes himself, scoring 8 runs. 29 balls of Cars, scoring 10 runs. And 12 balls of Harry Brook, scoring 18. And yes, as Stokes had prophesied, the century did come against Brook. But friends, now I'm going to tell you why Stokes was so pissed. And probably the answer will lie here. We looked at the last 4 centuries Jadeja scored. This was his fifth century in Test cricket. His first one was against West Indies in 2016 at his home ground in Saurashtra, scored against Craig Braithwaite. His second one was against Sri Lanka at PCA, the century coming off Lasith Mbuldenia. The third century came in Edgbaston against the bowling of Matthew Potts in 2022. And rightfully, his fourth century was against, yes, England's one of the greatest bowling attacking bowler, James Anderson. And now this was the fifth one, which was against Harry Brook. So as you can see, his last 2 centuries before this were against England, that too having won in England at Edgbaston. So Stokes would not have liked this at all. And the reference of the fourth match would be incomplete without mentioning the heroics of Washington Sundar. He actually came in before Jadeja at Pant's place because the captain did not want to disrupt Jadeja's rhythm. He had been batting well at number 6, and that's what he did. So Sundar came in at 5th, and he also scored a century. And just to remind Stokes, who all he faced, 65 balls, yes, 65 balls, that is more than 10 overs, of Liam Dawson, scoring 20 runs. 43 balls of Joe Root, scoring 27 runs. 33 balls of their lead bowler Archer, scoring 18 runs, and 25 balls of Chris Wokes, scoring 11 runs. Stokes also bowled to him 20 balls, giving away 15. Cars bowling 14 balls, giving away 4. And lastly, our favorite Harry Brook bowling 6 balls and getting hit for 6 runs. Yeah, so this should be a reminder to Stokes not to be such a spoilsport and acknowledge the good work done by the Indian batters And needless to say, at the end of the match, when the innings was finally called, Sundar and Jadeja, having completed their centuries, did go and shake hands, and sportingly everyone in the England team did. But yes, this would have left a foul taste in everyone's mouth, but good part was that in the end became just a good talking point and nothing more than that. Let's see how the fifth match goes. Will India be able to level the series, or will England draw or win the match and take the series with them? Thank you, friends.